drones and labor management. Joining us today to speak about that, Ian Smith, Ware. Ian, good to see you. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me, Russell. Appreciate it.
Ian, I think it's no secret that over the last couple of years, one of the terrible situations that has resulted because of the pandemic has been the labor shortage that so many companies have experienced. Well, let's talk about that. Walk us through that. What's been the challenge that folks have faced because of that?
It's really interesting. Even pre-COVID, we would have customers come up to us, and it's no secret we're here at an automation and robotics focused conference. And one of the big initiatives internally at these companies is to remove the reliance on human labor. So COVID came in, that didn't change one bit. You have humans that are susceptible to viruses, a global pandemic, but also they introduce a lot of error, they're expensive and hard to find, and they don't do well with dull, dirty, dangerous jobs. And so what we see after actually COVID kind of ran its course, knocking on wood here, is that the script has kind of flipped in a certain way. Previously, we were hearing a lot of times that these companies kind of wanted to reduce their headcount. They wanted to reduce the overall spend on headcount and bring these robots in to automate all these jobs. What we see now is that it's kind of somewhat altered. They don't want to reduce the amount of headcount. They want to take those people that have been doing those jobs that robots can do so much better, keep them, and put them in another part of the operation so they can continue using that human labor wherever it can make a big impact. And so the reasons for this, of course, are labor shortage. There's tons of competition. You've got warehouses across the street from one another, posting job boards and offering $1 more an hour for these associates. And it's an incredibly difficult challenge for every single one of our customers to have enough people. And so they want to bring in the robots to help them keep their operation running smoothly and also elevate it as well.
It sounds to me like the term is cobots. Robots working alongside people and that sort of thing. And we understand that the labor management issue is something for any number of reasons is going to continue. So let's talk about the automation that is available to deal with the labor situation. What do you say?
Right. For me, coming from an outside industry and kind of entering into warehousing, it was interesting to me that automation actually constitutes as something as simple as a conveyor system. That's automation in a warehouse.
Sure.
And you look at the history of it, and people used to be kind of daisy chaining, handing boxes to each other and packages, and one after another, and walking long distances. And so now, a conveyor system is automation. So today, and talking to a lot of our prospects and customers, meeting people here, you hear about 10 years ago at Modex, robots, like companies like Locus Robotics, had a small little 10 by 10 booth in the corner. They drove their robots down in a truck and a trailer from Massachusetts here to save money. Now they're $1 billion unicorn. So you've got so many options these days. You see ground robots, AMRs, AGVs, sortation systems, auto stores, all these different things. And now you also have robots that fly, which is kind of a new paradigm, and that's something that we're experts in.
You're right. Here at the Modex show where we are speaking, robotics is a huge component of the automation that you see. Well, let's look into your crystal ball. Let's look down the road maybe 5 years or so. I want to know what your vision is for what's going to happen in this industry that we're talking about here. Walk us through that. What do you see?
Something that just fascinates me is that you can have, if you've ever been in a warehouse, most people I think watching this have been, but if you are just a lay person, you've never seen these crazy, huge, million square foot, not even million square foot, 250,000 square foot facilities. The amount of traffic going through, the amount of hundreds of employees it takes to run this, there's so much stuff happening. And the entire operation is orchestrated by basically a glorified spreadsheet, a warehouse management system. It's archaic, ERP type software that these people are expected to use to do their job better. And it's like using a spreadsheet. No one's really asked them, how can I help you and design a piece of software better? So the future that I see in my crystal ball is for this dynamic and ever-changing warehouse environment. Everything's moving in 3 dimensions. There's a 4th dimension, which is time. And so why isn't there a system that gives you that kind of overview of every single thing happening in a warehouse? This person's moving here, this robot's here, something's flying over here, here's your inventory, here are your trucks, here are all your containers. It doesn't exist today. And so to me, the future and what I really see happening is that with all this automation and all this digitization and vision systems, we're going to start seeing more 3D, 4D operation system that reinvent completely the way that a warehouse management system helps a warehouse operate, and it's going to be a massive paradigm shift for the entire industry.
That is a fascinating scenario that you are picturing for us down the road. Let's talk about the here and now. Talk to us about Ware. What is it that Ware is doing to optimize operations of its customers today? Walk us through that.
Right, so we deploy self-flying drones inside of warehouses to automate inventory tracking. Nobody wants to do it. It's today human powered. It's the only kind of alternative to doing it is just having a bunch of humans walking around. And I've seen it. The world's biggest 3PLs have humans on scissor lifts, and they're walking and they're counting boxes with their fingers just like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Do some mental math, maybe type it in your little scanner gun. That's how they track everything. So if you're a huge company, that's kind of a broken process. It's 2022, there's got to be a better way. So what we do is we institute the robots. Ours happens to fly. It's a camera we can place anywhere in the facility. We automate that task. We take pictures of every single piece of inventory in the facility faster than humans can do it. We give them a visual audit history of everything in the facility, completely unheard of. They can now sit at their desk instead of logging 12 miles on the ground, grabbing binoculars to kind of look up at the pallet that's way up high on the pallet racking 25 feet up, and they can sit at their desk and resolve all these issues through our workflow. So we're working with some of the world's largest companies, 3PLs across North America, in Europe as well, and just started in 2019, right before, when we launched was Modex 2020, 50% of the people showed up here. 7 days later, San Francisco was the first big city in the US to go into lockdown. And we've kind of thrived in this because of the things we've talked about, the trends in human labor happening prior to COVID, but also going through COVID as well. So really having just a really fun time learning about all these inefficiencies that we see. I mean, it's like, we're kind of salivating at the opportunity here, and we're really going to reinvent kind of the way that entire warehouse operates, starting with inventory, but then kind of creating that 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional view with all of our different camera systems and vision systems in the facilities.
Ian, I want to thank you. I know you're busy here at the conference, but you found time to sit down and speak to us about an enormously interesting situation. Wishing you all the best going forward. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Russell.
Ian Smith, Ware, speaking with us today about the fascinating drones perhaps in the future of your warehouse. Thanks for watching.